So in the last tutorial, I taught you a basic workflow to crank out good looking interview videos in a reasonable amount of time. In this tutorial, I'm going to teach you a couple of different ways to make your video look even better. Now the first thing I want to do is add a lower thirds graphic that'll introduce my talent. Now to get to those, all you have to do is go over to the text tab and that'll open up all of the text options, and then this guy in the lower thirds has all these cool packages for lower thirds graphics. So you can scroll through them and find one you like. And I'm going to use this guy, and I'm just going to click and drag that on that top layer, just like we did with our pictures and our black slide. And you can see that text layer is transparent, so even though it's on top, it's not like it's blocking out all the footage. And to edit that guy, we're just going to double click on it. We can also come up to this top window and adjust our text, our font, our color, all that stuff. And we can also apply transitions to these clips too, so that it fades in and out nicely. So let's see how that plays.
We took a road trip down to California this last summer. My wife and daughter and I went down.
I think that works. So now that I have my lower thirds graphic in there, I want to edit my pictures so that they're a little more interesting to look at. So to do that, I'm just going to get rid of these transitions first. They just make everything a lot harder to edit. And I'm going to snap my playhead above the picture, and once I click on it, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to use this transform button. And so I'm going to go to the very start of the clip. If I use the up and down on the arrows, that'll snap me to each edit. So I'm going to go to the very start of that clip, and I'm going to insert a keyframe up here, and that's going to tell the program that I want to start animating this picture. So I'm going to just scale this one down. So I'm going to jump to the end of that picture, and I'll go back one frame so it's the very end. And I'm just going to take this bubble here and I'm going to scale it down. That should do it. And you can see it's already put in another keyframe for me. If I jump back, you can see that's where it starts. So let's see how that plays through.
Go and we did all the touristy things, and we rode the the tour buses went over.
Alright, so that works. It's just a little bit more interesting and you're not bored as you're looking through a bunch of pictures on the screen. So I'm going to speed this up and just apply that to all of my pictures. Now when you do this, you really want to play them through and make sure that they're fading out okay. You don't want something zooming out crazy fast and then something else fading up really slow. It just looks weird to your eyes. So play them through a bunch, adjust the keyframes. If you ever need to get rid of one, you can just go to either side and click that guy and it'll get rid of it. And then you can also hit Command Z to undo too. So just play those through, see what works, and then slap the transitions on at the end to have it all fade in and out really nicely with that animation. Alright, now that I've got all my animation done and I've slapped on the transitions, let's see how that plays through.
Builders continually building doors into walls that go nowhere. Stairways go up to nothing. And hallways that just go 10 feet and stop. It was just kind of, it was fun. It was kind of creepy because it felt like they were spirits and pretty bizarre.
Alright, I think that works. So Final Cut has a bunch of cool tools that let you adjust the color of your clips and pictures too. So if you click on your footage and decide, yeah, this doesn't really look the way I want it to, once you have it selected, you can come up to this tab up here, and if you hit this balance box right here, it'll automatically kind of color correct it for you. You can kind of see that subtle change. If you're still not happy with it, you can come down to this correction bar, and then if you hit the arrow, it brings you over to this tab, and it's got a bunch of meters that you can play with to adjust your saturation, exposure, overall color. So there's a lot of stuff you can do. It can get pretty crazy pretty quick, but minor adjustments are usually all you need. Now on top of the color correction, Final Cut comes with a ton of filters that you can apply to your footage too to get different looks. So I think I want to use one for when he starts talking about the haunted house to see if I can make his footage look a little bit spookier. So I'm going to use the blade tool and just chop this up real quick because it's going to apply it to the entire clip. So if you don't want portions of it to have the filter on it, you got to chop it up and separate it. And to get to the filters, you come over and hit the filters button at the far edge of that bar, and then you can preview them just like we have with our text and everything else, just by kind of scrolling across it with the mouse. So there's a bunch of filters in here. Some of them are really cool, some of them I don't know what you would use them for, but for this one I think I'm just going to use this dream kind of sequence. So to apply it, all you have to do is click and drag it onto your footage. So once I snap it over here, now it kind of has that dreamy, hazy kind of look to it. And you can come up into your, once it's on the video tab up here, you can come and adjust that too. So if you don't want it to be really, really strong, you can adjust that. And that applies to pretty much all of these filters down here. So now when we play that through, I don't know, I think it looks a little scarier.
Spiritual thing reasons, because she figured if she stopped construction, that she would pass away. So she had her builders continually building doors into walls that go no.
Alright, so there's a ton of cool filters, animations, and effects in Final Cut that you can add to your video to make it stand out. But be sure to do these last. It's easy to spend a couple of hours on this part and not even realize it. So make sure your video is essentially done before you jump into these features. So if you have any questions, please ask one of our awesome lab techs and we'll be sure to help you out.